What's going on, y'all? It's your man EK here. Now, I'm not here reporting about basketball. Obviously, I've just posted my video regarding the Western Conference Finals. I will be posting another video talking about the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the Western Conference champion San Antonio Spurs. But today's not about basketball, right? Because while the Western Conference Finals were going on, something else was going on in the entertainment industry, right? Talking about obviously the Roots picnic, obviously with a lot of very talented artists. It was headlined by Jay-Z. With the Roots, they did a whole bunch of records. Jay-Z brought out State Property, Beanie Siegel, Freeway, the whole crew and everything like that. But before his set started last night, and this was during the Western Conference Finals, so people who were focused on the game may not have really seen what was going on, especially if they weren't there. But for people who may not necessarily be in the know, by now everybody knows what happened. Jay-Z spit a freestyle before he started his set. And his freestyle went at various people. He went at Drake, he went at Nicki Minaj, he went at Dame Dash, he went at Tory Lanez, Tony Busby, a whole bunch of people. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go through and break down the lyrics for people who really haven't seen the full clip in its context. If you want to see the full clip, I believe I do have probably the clearest sort of video of the entire freestyle on my YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/The Hoop Coalition. You can go there and check it out. It's the full 3 minutes and like 10 or 15 seconds. And like I said, he's getting a lot of stuff off, and he's getting a lot of stuff off his chest. So we're just going to go through the lyrics real quick, and we're just going to pretty much go through them and kind of break down exactly what he was saying. So he starts out by saying, had he turning 100, if she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them. Every one of them playing these silly games. That 1-800 ambulance chaser, which one would have wished one came, but 911 is a joke. Obviously, Jay-Z is harkening back to the case that Tony Busby has sort of put out there. I believe it was maybe 1 or 2 years ago, claiming that, Jay-Z had sexually assaulted a young woman, I believe in 1999 or 2000 or something like that, before or after, I believe it was the MTV Music Awards. And for people who remember, Jay-Z went on his social media. It wasn't from a publicist or anything like that, because there were a lot of typos in the message and everything like that. You could tell it probably just came from his notes app on his phone. And he basically just dismissed those claims, called Tony Busby everything but a child of God, said this person was lying and they were obviously doing this to try to tarnish his name and things of that nature. And then as it progressed, we realized that there were no really real claims to what they were saying, and that, the victim and, who was accusing Jay-Z of obviously sexually assaulting her turned out to be completely false. And so he's hearkening to that. And obviously Hattie, for people who don't know, Hattie is Jay-Z's grandmother. Hattie White, Jay-Z's grandmother. So, so him basically starting to freestyle by saying, listen, the last time y'all heard me or y'all saw anything from me, I was trying to defend my name. I'm letting y'all know that now that that's cleared, I want to get this off my chest and let y'all know where I'm at with that. So I thought that was a good way to start out the freestyle. But then he continues by saying, the rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. Your son on the federal jail line, mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his. Wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth, and somehow I'm the one who done it. There's a murder mystery game. Okay. So that right there, he's talking to two people. The first part of that, when he's talking about the leprechauns have magically run out of pranks, your son's federal jail time, all that, he's talking about Tory Lanez. Right, obviously Tory Lanez, he's been in jail for maybe 3-4 years now for his shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. Famously, during the trial and everything, Tory Lanez was saying Roc Nation was behind it. Tory Lanez's father was also saying that Roc Nation had something to do with, them kind of meddling with the evidence and putting Tory Lanez in jail for some higher sort of call or whatever, some higher calling or whatever. Some nefarious sort of backdoor dealing, Illuminati sort of situation, right? So that's sort of, hold on. Sorry. So that's pretty much what happened, right? And and the funny thing is, that turned out to be pretty much false. Tory Lanez is still doing his time, and he's also still dropping music as well from jail. But that's sort of harkens to that, with Jay-Z saying, listen, man, this leprechaun then saying all these things, talking about he had too much to drink. Obviously, he's talking about how Tory Lanez, or some of the calls, if you guys remember some of the calls he had between Megan Thee Stallion, text messages, stuff like that. He was saying, listen, I've been drinking too much, and that's the reason why I went down the way it went down. I'm sorry, So he's kind of harkening back to that. And then the second half of that is obviously when you're talking about niggas' teeth is tumbling out, he's talking about Dame Dash. Dame Dash, the most recent thing he's done, other than the Jason Lee interview, which is super recent, but he also did the Breakfast Club interview, and he went up there and they were talking about how his teeth had fallen out and things of that nature. And I guess he was sort of flaunting it and saying, listen, I'm not hiding my flaws. I'll come out here with my teeth out and everything like that. And he was kind of owning it, right? Which I thought was cool at the time. Obviously, though, that whole interview was a mess in itself. But still, I feel like the sentiment of him walking around with no teeth in his mouth and just owning it, I thought that was cool. But Jay-Z's just sort of flipped it and was like, niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth, and suddenly I'm the one who done it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a pretty funny line, So right now, he's going at Tony Busby, he's going at Tory, and he's going at Dame, and we're not even a minute in. So let's go ahead and continue. Then he says, you had the cash cow and thunk it. What? You will pump test? I'm the one who strummed the pain. The hell you can die on. It's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. Sort of a bridge to the next sort of this. You want it another way. It's the other. I still on you suckers. I'd Marlowe you niggas, gang. Obviously Marlowe from The Wire. And it kind of goes into that. I ain't much for meetings, know-how. Cancels of brunches. I remember the hunger pain. Obviously, he's talking about the Rock Nation brunches and things of that nature that he used to do with all the celebrities and everything like that. So he's saying, listen, man, we're not doing the brunches no more. I'm back on my Marlowe. I'm hungry. I'm ready to rap. I'm ready to get back in the field. That's what I sort of take from that. Cancels of brunches. I remember the hunger pain. The price of the brick going up. That's another reference to The Wire. It's going to cost you a B to even say my name. Now, obviously, B stands for Billy, also a double entendre for Beyonce, right? Aptly named, people call it B. And to say my name is obviously one of the hits that Destiny Child had back in the, late 90s. You know what I'm saying? So good wordplay, good double entendre there from Jay-Z. And then we continue. You ever heard of a wonderkin? My children's the sum of them. Have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get under skin. I really get under skin. Ask how I'm playing. Okay, so this right here is very important because he references his wife, Beyonce, and then right after that, he's talking about Wonderkin, right? So in that scenario, I believe he's talking to Kanye West. Remember, Kanye West said some very disparaging things about Jay-Z's children and Beyonce's children when he was kind of going on his Twitter rant talking about they were basically the hard R word. And I'm not talking about what white people call black people to try to be racist. I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to say it. But yeah, basically they said he was insinuating that, Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids, some of them are, mentally challenged, we'll say. Right? And I remember everybody sort of saw that and was like, man, this guy's really off his rocker. He needs help. He needs to stop. He needs to get off Twitter, all that type of stuff. So Jay-Z sort of hearkening to that and saying, listen, bro, like, you're not going to talk about my kids any type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because you was my son. I brought you up. You know what I'm saying? And then he ends it by saying, you trying to get under my skin. I really get under skin. Ask how I'm playing. Now, for the younger people, they may not know, but Jay-Z is referencing a stabbing that he perpetrated. He committed, right? He stabbed an individual by the name of Lance Rivera. And back in the late 90s, early to late 90s, he had a record label called Entertainment, right? It was linked to Jay-Z and Cameron and all these New York rappers with a New York sort of independent label. And apparently Jay-Z and got into a dispute over some records, and Jay-Z was like, listen, bro, I don't like the way you rock it. And apparently he stabbed him, allegedly. Gotta use that word, allegedly. Allegedly, he poked him up a little bit. So yeah, we got that going on. So he's kind of referencing that and tying it back into the whole Kanye diss. So as we continue, y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones that saying, maniac. Watch how sane he act in my presence. Niggas shrink. I need a therapist. So tying in the shrink therapist, still talking about Kanye. The shit's not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. Still talking about Kanye, in my opinion. These nut ass niggas is stuttering. The chatty patty down on his luck again. Quest introduced me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him. So that right there, the nut ass nigga stuttering. I think he may be talking about Oskino. Oskino's been very, very open about, some of the issues he had with Jay-Z and in the early 2000s, early mid 2000s with the whole State Property Rock Nation thing. And he wasn't invited to the Roots picnic. He wasn't there. I saw clips of all the other old kind of state property guys there, and he wasn't there. And also in a lot of his interviews, he stutters a lot. So I think he's probably talking to Oskino in that. And then the Chatty Patty, obviously, talking about Dame Dash again, saying he's down on his luck again and things of that nature with some of the issues he has going on financially and, in the media and stuff like that. We're not going to get to all that. But yeah. And then Quest, obviously Questlove, drummer for the Roots, introduced me to Jaguar. Now, Jaguar is Jaguar Wright, who is a pundit, commentator, sort of like a Wendy Williams knockoff. And she said a whole bunch of nefarious stuff about Jay-Z and Beyonce for years and years and years. You know what I mean? So that's kind of self-explanatory. So he's basically sort of making a ha-ha joke, like, Quest my man, but he introduced me to Shorty. I shouldn't even be rocking with him. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a joke. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Questlove didn't know how toxic Jaguar Wright is when she introduced him to Jay-Z and all that. So I thought that was a little funny, sort of a bit of levity, in the freestyle, right? And then we go back to it, and this is one of the more scathing. This is right here. That lady back on the stuff. She sounded like she in love with him. Her kin can't even pick the kids. Enough of them. A rapper can't be my op. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You tried to break the covenant. So that is obviously Nicki Minaj and her, husband, I believe, and his name is Kenneth Petty. Obviously, Kenneth Petty has been, he's been reported as an individual who's on the offender list. So obviously when you're on the offender list, there are certain things you can't do. You can't go near a park. You can't do certain things like that. So he's sort of basically saying that, yo, like, you on that stuff again. And obviously when we say stuff, we mean that white girl. We mean the white dust. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to go into it, but that's essentially what he's insinuating. You on that stuff again. You on those enhancers again. You know what I'm saying? And now you just out your mind. You know what I'm saying? You got this dude who you with, that's your husband, that can't pick up your kids because he on the offender list. It's kind of crazy. And then obviously talking about a rapper can't be my op. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. Basically talking about Nicki Minaj's sort of tie into the MAGA sort of, paradigm, if you will. And sort of making a play on that, saying, listen, you can't be my op because I got MAGA Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Basically saying that he has, individuals on that side who rock with him more than they rock with her because of his connections. That's what I'm thinking. Y'all can let me know if I'm wrong with that. Right? And then we go back down again. I prayed for 40 days. My neck get flooded again. Wrist get flooded again. My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Now, obviously, this is when the Drake diss starts. Because Drake on Iceman had a line talking about the jig is up and things of that nature. So as we continue, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You got to look up again. Niggas look up the hole. I never looked up to them. Them crackers got you published and gangster. Go talk to them. Don't talk success to me. You niggas is workers. In perpetuities, your contracts is worded. Don't make me go further. This right here is beautiful because essentially what Jay-Z is saying is, listen, man, I'm on a different level than you in terms of like this rap and business thing. Like, there's a reason why I haven't dropped the album since God knows how long, since 2018 or something, 2017. Right? Nearly a decade I haven't dropped the album, but I'm still as relevant as I've ever been, And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you talking about charts. I'm on a different field than you. You haven't gotten to my field yet. So that's when when he's talking about wrong chart champ, you got to look up again. Niggas look up the whole. I never look up to them. And then that goes into the whole publishing, right? Talking about, the whole UMG Drake thing, and they still own his publishing. He don't own his stuff. And Jay-Z's basically saying, bro, I'm on a different level than you because I own all my stuff. Nobody can tell me what to do. Nobody can tell me I can't dish you. Nobody can tell me I can't go back and forth with you. You can't do it. Nobody can do it. So because nobody can do it, I'm going to do it. And you're not going to do nothing about it. Basically what Jay-Z is saying. And I think he's right in that assessment. Right. And then he's talking about, don't talk success to me, you niggas is workers. In perpetuity, how your contract is worded. Basically saying, you're going to be working in perpetuity. I don't got to do that. I'm not under contract with nobody. Nobody owns me, and nobody owns my art. Nobody owns my music. Nobody owns my skill set to do what I do. I've automated my lifestyle to be able to pay myself and be the boss and own everything that I create. That's another flex. It's not just about rap at that point. We're talking about business. You know what I'm saying? I think Jay-Z is just letting Drake know, like, listen, Iceman, it's a moment for you. Good job. 3 albums, all that good stuff. But no, understand who's who here. And I'm him, and I'm him, and you're that guy. You still work for somebody. People work for me. Like, that's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And then he ends by saying, the roots, remember even when the trees pretend. Not too much on my name. Don't forget who I am. Hattie loves her Shawnees. SHAWN. I find it adorable. She put an S at the end. You don't even know. You don't know the show ain't even begin. I said, you don't know the show ain't even begin. And then at that point, he went into you don't know. And then he, started his set and everything. So all in all, he dissed Tony Busby. He dissed Tory Lanez father, Nicki Minaj's husband, Drake, and Kanye. So that's 7 people he dissed that I was able to count. If I missed anything, y'all let me know. If there was some hidden sort of message that he said to somebody else, let me know. Oh, no, and no Skino, so that's 8 people. So I got 8 people that he dissed. If I missed anything, let me know. If I maybe overlooked something, let me know. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Once again, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, the Hoop Coalition. Also, follow me on X at Coalition Hoops. Follow me on IG at Coalition.Hoops. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.